Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm actually going to do a part 2 to the Dramatic Sunset Square. I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back. So if you missed part 1, go see that first, and I take you through how to take your granny square and then make this kind of, you start with a square and then kind of miter it off the side. But then I thought, I wanted to show you how to weave in the ends and finish off the square in a way that I think I'm going to put these together if I make a blanket out of it. So when I last saw you, we finished off with this second row of black, which left us up here. So my goal then is to work down this side and work the underside and fasten off by joining here so that we have a complete square that will then be really usable for sewing together or crocheting together. So what we're going to do is, I see that here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groupings of 3 double crochets on this side. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groupings of double crochet on this side. So to make this side match this side, I need to come up with 5 groupings equally spaced along this edge, turn and work 5 more along here. So that's where we're headed. Let's do it. So I'm continuing with my same hook, and instead of fastening off here at the end of this second row of black, I'm going to chain 3 and work a corner. So now rotating my piece instead of turning it, so I worked back, and instead of turning it, I'm just going to rotate the piece and now work along this edge. Working along this edge, I'm also going to work over some of those ends, which will come in really handy. So in that same space there, along the side, I am going to work 3 double crochet, and I'm going to work over as many of the ends as is possible so that I don't have to do them later. But if you stay tuned with me, I'm going to show you how I'm going to weave in those ends. So in between double crochet 3 groups, we chain 1, and generally we skip 3 double crochets. Well, instead we're going to skip 1 block. And in this next chain 3 turning space, we're going to place another 3 double crochet group, and I'm working over tails. I prefer not to work over more than 3 tails. 3 tails is really pushing it. 3 tails at a time. Definitely 2 is okay. 3 is pushing it, 4 is a little much. Anyway, so I'm skipping the side of the purple grouping, and instead I'm going to work in the side of this next anchored double crochet. And now I've got a whole lot more than 3 ends here. There's 5 potential ends that I could weave in. So instead I am going to leave out the purple because those will weave into itself really well. But the black and the red, that's going to be harder to cover up or to work into the back of the stitches. So the black and the red, those 3 tails, I am going to work over the top of them. They will fade back into the black pretty well, and then that'll leave those 3 purple or 2 purple that I will weave into the feet of the stitches. Okay, does that make sense to you? So I'm choosing logically the colors that would be hardest to weave in with a needle and have them be invisible. And I'm leaving out the tails that I could weave in with a tapestry needle and it would be less visible. So that's the logic between why I picked the black and not the purple. Now this is an odd spot. So we have 1, 2, 3 so far, and we need 5. I know 1 will go on the corner, so I have to choose, am I going to put another group of 3 here, which is kind of squished next to this grouping, or am I going to stretch it a little bit and put it here in this space? And so I'm going to opt to put it here in this chain 1 space. So this little corner of the orange is not going to get another double crochet 3 grouping. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I'll put 1 here to make 4 and 1 here to make 5. Okay, so we're just going to pretend that that doesn't exist. So now I am going to continue weaving in or working over the top of the black and the red, because again, those would be somewhat obvious to weave in on the back side of orange if I wove it in, but you absolutely could. Chain 1, skip 3 double crochets, and then work a corner just like any other corner. Do you hear Theo? Can you hear him on the mic? Come on, Theo. So we're doing the 3 double crochet grouping, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, because it is a corner. We're rotating the work, working along the corner, placing another 3 double crochet grouping in that corner space. All right, so taking a look at where we are, I have now worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups on this side, so we're balanced now. Okay, so the point is you want to have your final round or final row of mitered be the main color if you're going to finish off in this manner, so that when you put them all together, it'll be black against black when you put squares next to each other. So just be aware of how you choose your color placement, that this row that I am showing you that we have now turned into a round to finish off the 4 sides is now sort of becoming the dominant color. Okay, now remember here, we need 5 groupings, and this one over here we didn't use, we skipped it. So 1, 2, we'll place 1 in the purple, 3, 1 in the red anchor, 4, and then finish up the corner for the 5th one. So skip that corner on the orange, and we're going to work over the side of the post of the purple for 3. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Now skipping the purple group and working in the anchor of the red for 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Skip the group of the red and finish the corner as if you've already done half the corner of black. So working around the post here of this stitch, 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that finishes the corner. So join with a slip stitch in the top of that first stitch, whether it was a chain 3 or a double crochet, it doesn't matter. So now you have a complete corner. So you had done half the corner, and now you've did the final half of the quarter, and this is what it looks like. So then you would go ahead and snip the yarn, give yourself, when I pull it through, it'll be about a 2 to 3 inch tail, so that is fine. And we have a nice, very usable square that will be very convenient for sewing. Now let me grab a tapestry needle and let's weave in some ends. Okay, so decide which side is the front and the back for you. Generally, I like, can you see the difference that this is a back side and this is a right side? This is a back side, this is a right side, this is a back side, this is a right side. It's harder to see on the black. This is a back side, this is a right side. Generally, when I make squares like this, 2 things help me to decide which side is going to be my right side when I've turned rows. So generally, the very first round, sometimes I like that, whatever that side is. So this side would be the right side, and that would determine that the whole square, then this is the right side. But I don't like the way this looks as much as I like the way this looks. I like the way the finished final round is the right side. So I am going to, for the length of my project, determine one or the other to be my right side. And for me, I'm choosing that my final round will dictate which one is the right side and the wrong side. So it's totally up to you. You don't even have to be consistent, but I will. So if I determine that this is my right side, I'm going to take this little end, for example, and push it to the back, and then I will weave it in over here. So I'm going to take my tapestry needle, and with short ends, I like to weave in on the back side of the work. I like to put my needle in first, and then put the tail through the eye of the needle, and then pull it through until it disappears. Okay, remember here are some ends that I couldn't fit in because there was plenty of bulk already there with the other ends. So I always try to weave the color in on the same color so that it disappears. So I'm going to weave my needle through a little of the way, and then I will go ahead and take 2 tails at a time and hold them together and put them to both of them together at the same time through the eye of the tapestry needle, and then pull them through. Now, if they are still too long, I can either snip them here or I can work back the opposite direction, making sure that you don't undo what you just did. So go back on a different path, grabbing those ends, putting them through the eye of the needle, and see, I'm having trouble here because they're kind of fuzzy. So weave them through the best you can. Looks like one is going to go through, maybe the other one is going to go through, and then you just pull your needle through and spread it out. Then if you have some here that needs to be snipped, you can snip right there on the surface of the fabric without snipping your work. Or you can get your husband to do it. Like my friend Rebecca has her husband do all her ends, which is so, so cool and so supportive. So that is how to finish off the dramatic sunset square so that you can go ahead and turn it into a project. I probably would leave this one for now and then work over it when I put the squares together. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Next, in a few days, keep like and subscribe and turn on your notification bell, because I'm going to attempt to read a vintage pattern and see how different it is from today's modern written patterns. So vintage, meaning 1979. Isn't that hilarious? Anyway, like and subscribe for more videos and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss this. It's going to be funny. All right. See you later. Bye.